What's up, everybody? Welcome into the RPG podcast. We're here today to talk about James Cook, Buffalo Bills running back, and his 2025 Dynasty outlook. All right, first thing everybody knows when you talk about James Cook is he is on one of the best offenses in football, the Buffalo Bills. All right, so where is he going in current startups? We got RB13 as his current startup value, the 52nd player off the board. Some running backs going right in front of him: Quinshon Judkins, now to the Browns, Kyron Williams of the Rams, Travion Henderson of the Patriots. Going right behind him, we have Josh Jacobs of the Packers. We have Christian McCaffrey of the 49ers. That is quite the tier to be part of. They got a little bit of everything. They have some older vets that are going to give you production. They have some rookies in there. And then they have James Cook, who is in this odd middle ground when you think about him, because RB13 prices, I mean, you're expecting all of the production that can potentially be there. You're expecting him to put up exactly what he did this past season, which when we go over to Fantasy Pros here and very quickly show the production for James Cook, you go, okay, RB11 in points per game here, 16.7 points per game. But the first thing that pops off is 16 rushing touchdowns. All right. Is that repeatable for somebody of James Cook stature? That is a huge question. I personally am projecting him to be closer to that 10 rushing touchdowns, that 9-10 rushing touchdowns, which if you even give him a little bit of an uptick in carries, keeping around the same yards per attempt or yards per carry, maybe to somewhere around that 220, 225 range. Obviously, Josh Allen is going to be taking some of the rushing attempts, and then other running backs in the backfield will be pulling from that. But 225, I feel like, is a reasonable outcome. Looking at it, just dropping that touchdown, I mean, we're talking about taking a chunk off of these total fantasy points for the season, and that would likely drop him down to that 15.5 to 16 point range, which when you start getting into that, you got a muddied area right here from last season. You got some James Conner, some David Montgomery, Chase Brown, Chuba Hubbard. All right, you piece all of that together and you say he is going to be a very high-end RB2 or a very, very low-end RB1 when you look at his points per game metrics here. All right, so what does that tell me when we were just talking about him being drafted as RB13? Okay, RB13, fantastic. You know, that is right about the value that he is going to produce for you, which is good because there is questions whether the Bills will re-sign him or if he'll be going to free agency. If he's going to free agency, he's got to learn a new offense. He's got to deal with a new offensive line. He's got to deal with not having one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL as it currently sits, pulling pressure off of him, pulling boxes that are frankly favorable to the run. So those are all question marks moving past 2025 that you'll have to think about. But for 2025 specifically, I'm projecting him as that really, really high-end RB2 to that really, really low-end RB1, very similar to his production last season, maybe a slight tick down in the touchdowns with a slight tick up in the rushing attempts. All right. So now we're going to go over to Fantasy Calc, our good friends over there, and we're going to see where he currently is listed on Fantasy Calc, which is RB15. Okay, so now He's going off of boards per startup data as RB13, being valued as RB15. So there's a slight discrepancy there. He's also one of those assets that people are starting to get that little twinge in their eye of, is he going to be a Buffalo Bill? The contract's starting to creep in. So even if he has a productive season like he did last year, I don't know if I'm expecting his dynasty value to go up too much more. You look at what Fantasy Calc has right here. They have Josh Jacobs in front of him, Christian McCaffrey. Those guys could see a dip in their fantasy value going into 2026 because of just getting a little bit older, a little bit more wear and tear on the tires, all of that. Kyron Williams could be in a similar situation as well, with the Rams potentially moving on next offseason. But for right now, James Cook is sitting at that RB15. Look, the rookies are ahead of him. Is there much more to gain out of James Cook? I don't know. I mean, maybe a spot, maybe two, assuming that Walker, Harvey, Johnson don't jump him from a dynasty value standpoint. But the biggest question mark that will loom over James Cook until he gets that contract extension will be the contract. That will be the thing. As soon as he gets that contract extension, he'll shoot up a couple spots in dynasty value because people will know he's tied to the Bills. He's tied to that explosive offense. All right. And when we start looking at that explosive offense and we look at them from a run blocking standpoint here, going over to PFF to pull some of their data that they have, Osiris Torrance has been not good as a second round guard. He hasn't lived up to the expectations coming out of Florida, what everybody was thinking that he was going to be a mauler. Spencer Brown holding down the tackle position, doing well in the run game, doing well in the pass game. Deion Dawkins, much better pass blocker than he is run blocker, but he's still a plenty serviceable run blocker. Connor McGovern at center, being able to move guys around, being able to utilize his abilities to be able to get that very good grade. And then David Edwards, somebody that is serviceable. Once again, we're not looking at somebody that is a liability. We're looking at somebody that is going to be able to go in there, be able to do his job, not open up giant holes, but he's also not letting defenders into the backfield right off the snap. So when you look at this, you see an offensive line that overall is a pretty decent offensive line. You have a elite level quarterback that can push the ball downfield at any time. You have two tight ends in Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid that can stretch the field, that can stretch the field both vertically and horizontally with their athletic ability. So you have a passing game that can take pressure off of this running game. So if James Cook ends up moving on in the offseason and the Bills end up not re-signing him and he finds another home, most likely that will be a downgrade for his fantasy value. But if you have him on your team and you like production, you like what you saw last season, and you like scoring the fantasy points that a high-end RB2, low-end RB1 will give you, James Cook is your guy. That is who you want to be having in this offense. And with that, we appreciate you checking out this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. Please take a couple minutes and watch some of our other dynasty breakdowns for 2025. We try and be realistic. We try and have rational mindsets over here to be able to make sure that we're not taking the hype train to the moon, setting dynasty gamers up for failure. All right. With that, have a good night.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Football RPG Podcast. If you made it this far, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to check out written content, head over to lastwordonsports.com.
Don't let the Goblins get you.